Welcome to Life and Smile, the podcast. I'm Dr. Rena, a global dental expert, founder, CEO, and author. And for our 7th season, we're here to join you on screen straight from our recording studio at 75 Harley Street. Join me in each episode where we talk about everything dental, lifestyle, business, and much more. Join in conversation with an industry insider in their chosen field who give us a behind-the-scenes glimpse into their daily regime, career turning points, and an exclusive look at to what they can't live without. As a businesswoman myself, it's been so inspiring to hear how people have built their careers and shattered those glass ceilings. So let's get the conversation going. Have you seen our latest By Dr. Rena edit? You can find out more information on www.bydrrena.com. I'm so excited to be back in the Life and Smile recording studio where we have a very special guest today, a style editor of Tatler magazine, Chandler Tregaskes. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Chandler, you are a true industry insider at the front row of the fashion industry, and I know many of our listeners will be avid followers of your content and your work, so it's so great to have this conversation with you today.
No, thank you so much for having me. I mean, you've got such amazing guests on the show, so to even be asked is a very, very big honor.
Oh,
and
thank you so much.
My friends have been on this too, so I know that I'm in good hands. So
you're in very good hands. You're in very safe hands. We like to start from the beginning with all of our guests. Like, where did it start in terms of your career? What were those sort of early stages, and how did that lead to where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we go back to the beginning, I grew up in a tiny little town in Devon.
Right.
And at 16, I was like, Mum, Dad, I'm moving to the big city. But the big city I thought was Plymouth. So it turns out that's not the big city at all. I did 2 years at an art college there, and I was working on the menswear desk at House of Fraser, and I was like, I don't think this is the big city. I think I have to make that next step.
Right.
And so at 18, I came to London, and I just interned my way into everything. I did a year I started in PR, actually, is where I started. And then I got my first real job in PR, realized I was quite rubbish at it, and I'd quite like to try the other side.
Right.
So then I went back down a level and interned again at every mag underneath the sun, and luckily ended up at Tatler, where I was given a month long and then a 6 month, and then I was allowed to stay until now.
Amazing.
Which has been great.
So it was all through those little steps in terms of building your experience. Did you find that each of the kind of places that you went to, you learned something different? Do you think that's like for someone like starting early on in their career, do you think building up that experience in various industries is really important?
Absolutely. I think I just knew that I wanted to be in fashion. I think originally I'd wanted to be like a physical stylist, like I wanted to be styling celebrities and whatever. And it wasn't until I was somewhere, I think it was at InStyle, gave me my first writing task, and I was like, oh, I actually quite enjoy this. I never knew that I would. And I wouldn't have found that out if I didn't go and try absolutely everything in the context of fashion, you know?
Yeah, amazing. And obviously, the world of fashion and beauty has changed over the years. It's constantly evolving. Are there any favorite topics that you like getting involved in? Anything that particularly draws your interest?
Well, I like to think what I do and what my topics, I like to do anything that's beautiful, glamorous, gorgeous, which is quite nice.
Yes.
And I think the height of that is when I'm reporting on the couture collections, which I think it's so much fun because you're seeing what a designer's worked on for the last 6 months. You're picking up on their references and what they mean by this. There's also a huge buzz. There's amazing people in that room, and you're trying to report on that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I feel the most like I'm doing my job at the best it can be.
Yeah, completely understand. Makes sense. If we go back kind of looking at your career so far, it's so inspiring, everything you've achieved and what you're doing now. All your content is so amazing. For someone starting off their career, what advice would you give them? Obviously, things have changed over the years in terms of career and how to get to certain places, but what advice would you give to them? Or if you were talking back to your younger self, what would you say to them?
Well, I don't think there's like a to Z guide on how to do this anymore. Like when I was starting, it was, you do these hundreds of internships and you just pray and hope, and everything was word of mouth. So if you worked your hardest, someone would say, hey, I need an intern, you go over there. But I don't even think those roles, because they probably aren't that legal. Like you were getting like £10 a day and to do crazy amounts of labor. So I don't actually think they exist. And I think that kind of leaves a gap almost of people wanting to start at entry level but not having that kind of experience. I think it's quite difficult. But what I do say to people when they ask me for advice is if you have your chosen bracket that you want to work in, so mine was fashion, don't say no too soon.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to be in fashion, but then I started in PR. And if I hadn't, I wouldn't have met all the people along the way that turned my mind into, hey, I can go do this instead. And I think just because there's not a clear trajectory to where you want to be in 10 years' time, that doesn't mean you shouldn't enter that space and suck up everything you can and learn from it. And even if what you learn is, I hate this, I'm really rubbish at it, like I did in PR.
That's still helpful, though,
it's
to
really
know
helpful,
that.
and then you know, and then
Yeah.
at least you can say you've done it, and then, it's a learning curve.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And like sometimes when you're early on in your career, you think you know what you want to do, but it's until you try and test things, as you say, that you actually opens avenues and ideas and interests that you think you didn't even have. So
you don't know anything until you've tried it.
Yeah,
so
that's really, really
we
good
should
advice.
try it all, as long as it's within, the constraints of whatever you want to be doing.
Yeah. What would be your proudest moment to date, like out of everything you've done so far?
Gosh, I don't know if there's a specific proudest moment, but I do like to think that in everything that I do, how do I word this? I never want to put out rubbish content. I never want to, in general, I don't want to read something that isn't well researched, that isn't well thought out. And I definitely don't want someone to read my work and think that of me.
Right.
So I always make sure that whatever I do, it is the best it can be, which I guess is taking pride in your work.
Yes.
So I don't really have a proudest moment, but I like to think that everything I do is the best it can be before it goes out.
Yeah.
And that makes me proud.
Yeah, I love that. So it's that attention to detail and making sure nothing goes out that you're not 1,000% happy with.
Yeah.
I think if you have that level of detail and attention and care for anything you do, you can only do good things, I guess.
Yeah.
People would notice that, I'm sure.
Our own worst self-critics, aren't we? But that's also kind of a good thing sometimes.
Yes.
It makes you
yeah.
like try a little harder. I think.
Makes sense. In terms of keeping you inspired with your type of role, and it's very creative, you've got to be constantly inspired, constantly thinking of new content that's going to engage your followers. What keeps you inspired? Is it reading certain things, or do you have a mentor or editor that you really follow?
Well, I'm quite lucky because I get inspired by absolutely anything. It could be someone that looks really glamorous in the supermarket, or it could be some haute couture show. In terms of being at Tatler, it was like, over 300 years, that magazine is incredible, and there's been incredible editors there. My editor, Richard, has been so great in my career and has really taken a chance on me and let me grow.
Yeah.
But also amazing people like Isabella Blow was there, who was an incredible inspiration to me. And I never got to meet her, but you hear stories of people that worked with her, and they're incredible, and she was such a visionary. But on the other side of that, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a bit inspired by like absolutely fabulous Patsy Stone too, because I think we should all be having a bit more fun, right?
So it's that variety, having that variety as well.
Yeah. Like very serious and very fun, But inspiration from everywhere.
Nice. We always like to get our listeners and followers to behind the scenes sort of access to your life. Now, what day to day, how does it work? Is your day different every day? Do you have a structure to your day? Tell us more about that.
Absolutely no structure, I think, which is actually kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's very hard. There's no kind of, as long as you get the work done.
Okay.
But that work can take you anywhere. Like recently I went to the F1 with Louis Vuitton in Melbourne like last month, and that was incredible. But that's not being in the office every day. And then sometimes you need to be interviewing somewhere really far away, and then sometimes you need to be in the office because other reasons. So there's not really a structure, but I think that actually keeps me on my toes more, and I do like that. One thing that keeps me sane though is in that day to day is I always plan my outfit the night before.
Okay. Good
because
tip.
I think you have to. You have to, because you got to think, what am I doing tomorrow? That outfit. And I also have this rule that doesn't always work every month, but I don't like to wear the same outfit 2 times within 1 month.
Okay.
So you can do the same pieces, but like different.
Mix it up.
I think there's we're editors. We have to commit.
Of course. And you look amazing today.
Thank you very much.
I think for sure, like the stress of thinking about an outfit in the morning when you're rushed for time,
It's
you're probably
not
not
worth
going to
it.
make the right decision.
No, exactly. So as I go to bed, I like to think, hey, what is this tomorrow? And also, like, what's clean and ready? You know?
Yeah, of course.
So like a nice logical thought of what are we going to wear, how are we
Yeah.
going to pair that up, and it also sets you up for a good day too, because
For
you
sure,
know
you
you've got a
feel
good
prepared.
outfit to wear, you feel confident,
Yeah.
and you're ready to rock it.
Yeah, no, love it. And so it's not really like a typical day. It depends on what projects you're working on. You can be
Completely.
anywhere in the world working on different things, which I guess keeps it interesting.
It keeps it very fun. I'm very
do you
lucky.
do you have a favorite? Like, if do you prefer like working from home, or do you prefer being out and about? Like, what's your what are you more inclined to enjoy doing?
I think there's definitely a balance somewhere.
Right.
I'm not sure I've ever got it right.
Okay.
I think if I really need to, bolster down and write a huge piece, I do like to do that from my home.
Right.
But then also something in me that kind of gets a bit inspired by, like the drama of having to write something on a plane before we take off and we don't have any signal anymore,
Yeah,
that kind of spurs me on sometimes, and is the only kind of option sometimes. But
so you like deadlines? You like
I like
having,
a bit of that kind of
the
something about that
adrenaline.
stress, the adrenaline.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
exactly. I think that kind of drives me.
Yeah. Are there any particular projects that you've really enjoyed doing over the years, whether that's in the UK or globally? Any particular things that have really stood out?
I mean, I always love interviewing people, which is very hard for me right now because
You're on
I'm
the other
in the hot
side.
seat, and now I feel bad for all my interviewees. So I'm like, it's fine, it's just an interview, but I'm very nervous. But I like to be able to speak to people, and I mean, there's one question that every fashion editor always asks, which is like, what is your earliest memory of fashion?
Okay.
And I actually like to ask that. I actually really like the answers people give, because they're really quite touching, and it's always something from childhood, and it they really have to think about it, and I really like that one. So whenever I get a chance to interview someone, I'm quite happy.
Can I ask you that question?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Throw it back to you.
I could have actually been asked.
Because now I'm intrigued.
But I do have mine.
Tell us
I
more.
remember mine was my mum had, it was the 90s, had a fluffy cow print hat, and I was obsessed with it. I would play with it, I would put it on, and I think those kind of really early memories is when we do kind of figure out what our styles are. We're like, oh, that's a gorgeous thing. Why do I like that? Why do I want to play with that? And so, yeah, that's mine. What's yours?
That's beautiful. That's really nice.
Can I turn it around?
Well, I'd have to think about that. What's mine? Well, probably it comes more from my heritage in terms of the more sort of Indian cultural side of things, and my grandma having beautiful saris, sparkly saris that you want to wrap yourself into, but they're huge and you have no idea how to deal with them. But seeing her put it on and then think, wow, how did you fold that so immaculately and pin it without anyone's help, and look so beautiful? I think that would be my early on, and being really intrigued and inspired with the Indian heritage and from that side of things.
So they're beautiful memories, aren't they, when you think about it?
And often, some of the outfits and the designs, they have stories behind them when you look at the drawings on the saris and things like that. So it's, it's hugely inspiring.
Yeah, definitely.
You caught me off guard there, Chandler.
Sorry, I'm trying to do my job. I'm just going back into my normal zone of asking the questions.
With downtime, tell us about how you recharge, because obviously it must be really full on in terms of the amount of energy you have to really focus, and especially when you're doing everything to the best possible standard. How do you re-energize? What do you do in your downtime? How does that work?
I do think we all need to party.
Yep.
I think partying is essential. It helps with the brain. It helps with everything. But also sometimes things I probably shouldn't say on camera, but being a bit of a slob sometimes, just really
not doing anything. Watching some Netflix.
And I think it's important to have a bit of both in the downtime.
Do you have any favourite spots in London that you like visiting, or?
Well, obviously I love being in Mayfair.
I
love being at a fashion party. I love any sort of members club hopping.
Yeah.
But also on the other side of that, I'm a bit of a Camden girly.
Really?
I have a favourite goth bar there that I do my birthday in most years.
Nice.
And I like a bit of that rock and roll too. So again, you've got the glamour, but then also
Mix
a
it
bit
up.
of the grit too. I think that makes you balanced.
Amazing. Love it. Love it. One of the favorite questions and one of my final questions I want to ask you is one that we ask all of our guests, which is 3 things that we can find, on your desk or in your bag, or, 3 essential items that you can't live without. What would they be?
Well,
I know it's hard.
I've done my research,
okay,
so
fine.
I have my 3.
Nice.
But number 1 you won't like.
Okay, that's okay.
It is
like
my
honesty.
vape and my cigarettes,
Okay.
which is bad. It's bad, I know, but
Okay.
I genuinely can't live without. I
Okay.
think, especially it's vape normally, but cigarettes on a really bad day.
Okay.
Number 2 is huge sunglasses.
Okay.
And my favorites are from Linda Farrow, which is on Mount Street. Really beautiful brand, British brand.
That's all year round then.
Yeah, because it's not only sun, it's
exactly.
sometimes hangover.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
And just if I don't want to put makeup on,
Okay,
it's
okay.
good. It's good.
Okay.
It's armor. You
Yeah.
always need that. And number 3 is always going to be somewhere near me, whether that's under the desk or wherever, or somewhere I can reach, is a pair of platform boots for when you need to go to the party.
Yeah.
My favorites, I have a pair of Christian Louboutins, and they're almost kind of like brogue-esque. They tie up, massive, big, chunky platform, and they have the beautiful red sole. And what else would you need for a party?
Sounds good. Thank you so much for such an interesting conversation and giving us that exclusive access about your role, what you do day to day, what keeps you inspired. What do you have coming up for our followers? Anything to look out for? Any exciting projects that are on the way?
Well, thank you for having me. This has been so much fun. I'm really quite excited about our July issue, which will be out in a couple of weeks. I can't say what's in there, but there's
some exciting things.
There's 2 stories that I'm really, really excited about that I've travelled for, and got some really great, gorgeous interviews in there. And it's our couture issue as well, so it's my favourite issue of the year, and I'm quite pleased with it, and I think it's a really nice read.
Brilliant. So we'll all get our hands on that
Otherwise,
copy
I'll
for
be
sure.
at the fashion party. Come say hey.
Of course. Thank you so much, Chandler, for your time, and we look forward to inviting you back to Harley Street.
I'd love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Check out our latest By Dr. Rena edit on www.bydrrena.com.